Hi and welcome to another tutorial here from the HOFA studios. Today we're gonna do, well, actually not a reaction video, but rather an analysis video. We're gonna listen to one song from the latest album of
Peter Gabriel, I.O.
It's some kind of special because it has been mixed in two different versions and both are available in, on the album on CD. We actually have it here, real CD, the real stuff. We're gonna compare these two mixes of the first song on the album. It's called Panopticum.
Yeah, the first album in over 20 years, and the works and the different mixes are from Spike Stent.
Max Spike Stent,
yeah,
right.
And Chet Blake is the other one.
Actually. Yeah, and Chet Blake has been a Peter Gabriel mixer of the last album and been doing a lot of stuff in 80s and 90s. And Mark Stent is the mixer of the 2000s and the last 20 years. He's been doing really every successful artist on the planet. Big names, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, okay, I think we're ready to start, huh?
So let's hop into that.
All right. I would like to start by just having a look at the whole album. It's quite a long album, it's almost 70 minutes, and there are quiet and loud songs. And it is pretty dynamic, but still the loud songs are loud. The first song has around -9 LUFS, which is not extremely loud, but it's loud enough.
Absolutely it is.
So just listen to it.
Okay.
So far, that's Peter Gabriel.
Here he goes, yeah.
I think it starts with the part where the drums set and you hear it's Peter Gabriel.
Yeah,
it's a typical band sound with Manu Katché on drums, Tony Levin on bass, David Rhodes on the guitars and the keyboards as well. They're typical stuff from Peter Gabriel. And maybe just for the listeners, we have the two mixes on two different colors on in our analyzer. They match the CD, by the way. The blue one is the Dark Side by Chet Blake, and the pink one is the Bright Side by Mark Stent. And we can see that it sounds different just by looking at the analyzer. And let me start comparing these two songs and these two mixes. I'm gonna switch between the two mixes just to hear the difference.
Right.
First of all, just in this little part, it has completely different levels.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you get the Bright Side seems well balanced, like very open and wide, and compared to that, the acoustic sound of the Dark Side is like bitey, up there in the high mids
and this synth as well. This one. The Dark Side is much louder in the high mid range.
Yeah.
and that's clear. And there is a lot of stuff happening on the sides. It's very wide and very stereo. Okay, so let's go to the next part.
The drum. Oh boy, that's worlds apart.
Really, it is, yeah.
I recognize the engineer from the Up album. That's like just regarding the drum sound. You hear the snares, and I know that Chet Blake is known for parallel distortion. He used to, I read somewhere, used to use sense amps to put bass and drums into it, which makes it trashy. We all know the Up sounds.
And the snare is
brutally, absolutely. It's, for me, it's a bit like over the top, or like regarding the levels, or let's say the priorities. Bass drum and snare could be a little bit more balanced.
Just compare these two mixes just in the drum part. That's really interesting here. Right side. That's the snare mix.
Now the interesting thing is, the dark side drops numb. It's really like you've thrown I don't know, a blanket over everything. The space seems gone when we hop into the vocal.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of them have the vocals like intimate, big and wide. Used to have the Peter Gabriel style, but compared, I would say that's crazy.
And let's just return to the drum for a second, because I think they sound quite different, but they have, on the other hand, the typical Manu Katché snare element. And I would like to show you guys out there how you can get that kind of drum sound in a mix without having a real Manu Katché in the studio. And yeah, let's take a look at it. I took the bright side mix for this one and looped a few bars of the first drum part. For the deconstruction, I took a drum sample from an original Yamaha Manu Katché signature snare that's included in the BFD3 drum library. I did some processing, and in the end it sounds like this. Let's take a look at the processing I did in the drum channels. One of the most important things is to shape the transients. I combined the top and the snare button mic in a group. There is a filter on the bottom mic to get rid of all the fundamental tone elements. It sounds like this. And that is in combination with the top mic. The two signals are grouped together in the snare group. There's an IQ-EQ to boost the fundamental tone and a bit of the high end. The magic is done on the snare with the transient designer that adds the transients and the high frequencies and boosts the sustain in the mid-range. I add the overheads and then the ambient mic, which sounds like this. First thing is to get rid of the high end. The next step is to add a very strong compression. Let's move to the bass drum. There are two sounds, one from the bass drum and one a bit stronger from the snare. They go into the IQ reverb, and there we have this impulse response. With this envelope and this saturation in the reverb plugin. What's left is the processing in the drum group. A rather strong compression, but in parallel mode. And after that, another saturator with a wet mix of only 10%. As a final element, I add a noise sample, a pitched cowbell, with some delay and reverb. it adds something that is pretty close to the color of the percussive sound in the original drum mix. Okay, so let's get to the vocal part, I think, huh? The verse.
Takes its form. On the phones, take pictures while it's warm.
That's funny.
Is that sound in the other version?
No,
I
think not. I think actually not.
On the phones, take pictures.
On the phones, and Chad Blake added a phone sample. I think he added it, I don't know.
Take
Here.
on the phones, take pictures.
And it's really loud. And
It is.
that's typical, I think, for him. The things he want to be audible, he makes it loud. And not just like, okay, I can hear it. It's just like, wow, what's that?
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's getting
well,
into
that-
remixing
yeah,
it rather
it's
than
almost
mixing.
it's almost like a different recording. I'd love to hear the first chorus part and maybe the last chorus part of the song and
Yeah.
compare them.
Absolutely.
While we watch the world around us, we got witness on the ground. Taking in the evidence, and we reach across the globe.
It is different, and when you switch between the mixes, it's like, whoa, something's happening. It's not like one of those is bad and the other one is great,
No.
but they're different. And yeah,
I was about to say, I have to admit that's my personal taste, but I didn't like the acoustic sound of the dark side that much. But I get into what the function is like within the chorus. Now they have sometimes when people don't have shakers, they use acoustic guitars, like to have like 16th notes or something like in it. And so the bright side is like shiny and wide here, and the dark side is more functional in the mids. So it
a little harsh,
seems
but
a bit more in the middle and
Yeah.
more dense.
and it's quite more audible. It's more present, yeah. It's a different approach, but it works well for both mixes, yeah.
Got all the information, go you face the mother load. Tentacles around you, around you.
What I really do like in the mix, in the bright side mix, is the low end.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it sounds really stable and solid and nice. And it sounds a little bit different in the dark side mix.
Though, since I am a huge fan of the Us and the Up album, I like these defined mid characteristics. Although I would love to have the low end of the bright side on the dark side mix.
And it's very balanced, the low end and the bright side. If you look at the analyzer curve, you can see what you hear is that there is no dips and no peaks and no scoops and stuff. It's very balanced. And the dark side mix have this peak here at below 40 hertz, then a dip at 50, that's like 10 dBs quieter, and then it's going up again. And it's not that stable and solid and really warm and rich like the one in the bright side.
That wouldn't work in a vinyl mix with the dark side. Then.
I think probably the mastering for the vinyl would look different on the dark side.
Had to, yeah.
And especially with these very wide and stereophonic and stuff, and it's really, I think it's too wide. Let's jump to another part where I think we can hear the differences between the two mixes quite definitely.
Panopticum.
This this acoustic chorus
Yeah.
sounds very different in the two mixes.
Real
And
quick.
that's listen to the rim click and to the acoustic guitar.
Okay.
Let's find out what's going on. Panopticum. Let's see where clues are leading. Panopticum. Want to show us what's going on. Panopticum.
In comparison, two worlds.
Yeah, and I think this shows the weaknesses of the dark side because first of all, the characteristics of the rim click combined with those strummings of the acoustic guitars don't work that well as with the bright side. Plus these EBO, I don't know, feedbacks from the guitars flying. Do much more work in the bright side. It's a beautiful thing, and it teases the chorus in a way it should be.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I'm hearing with the right
on the other side, the pro of this mix is that it goes down a little bit more.
Yeah, that's
it's getting
absolutely
smaller.
true.
It's getting a little bit more edgy and aggressive, but still it leaves a little bit more room for the next part.
So how much is real? And we poured the medicine down while we watched the
It's really ultimately.
I like the slap back on the vocals. There's something like an eighth. slap back.
Listen to that build up in the other mix. It's interesting. The other one is much more spectacular.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it's
So I'm here
nice.
with
It's
the dark side.
It's
now.
interesting, yeah. And we listened to the mix before, I must admit. But the next part is interesting because I think in the full chorus parts, the mixes sound much closer than before. There's everything there, lots of backing vocals, lots of instruments, not much space for something else. And they had to mix it similar to get to the
to make
best
it work.
result.
Close to
medicine down while we watched the world around us. We got witness on the ground.
There are, of course, still nuances and differences, but
Yeah.
it's not like two different songs or two different recordings.
Can we go to the end? There's something with the guitar I noticed early on. I don't know if the
very
last
end,
part-
or?
Yeah, the very end, I guess. Yeah. Okay, I know the difference. It's the guitar that teases digging in the dirt. Do 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 do. Go bam.
Yeah.
That's it. That's stronger in the dark side. So the electric guitar is a bit more in the face. Yeah. Okay, but that's yeah, absolutely.
But that's something you said. There are a lot of self-references on this album.
There it is. And I was reminded of this is the picture from Soul
Exactly.
somewhere. Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Harmonics.
It's great. He is allowed to do that.
Absolutely.
And we can tell the recording's been over a time of more than 20 years. And some of the recordings are from the same same time as for the Up or for the Us album from the 90s. I think those two mixes show what two artists, two mixing engineers can do, bring it into different directions, but still the mix and the song and the recording stay the same. They both stay true to the song and to the artist.
Absolutely, and both of them have the potential to stay timeless because it doesn't sound like, I don't know, a very modern production. It's kind of the timeless Peter Gabriel style, and that's the reference.
Yeah, that's it from us, I would say. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and maybe you can even try yourself to do a drum mix like that. That's it from us. Have fun.
Thank you for watching.